right. How is everybody? So I promised this rant, it was coming. So we are going to have a DVD close up plus a rant of one of my movies that I only have in my collection just because, well, it's just because it has Stallone in it and I have most of his movies. We are talking about the god awful Driven. We're talking about that today here on the Media Files. All right, welcome back. So let's get this big old pile of crap done with. Driven. So this came out around the time when it was known as kart, where basically Indy 500 and Grand Prix drivers were kind of going back and forth, and they kind of decided to change the name up for a little while, and so Hollywood figured, well, you know, we did have we had a movie about NASCAR, but we don't have a movie about IndyCar. So Stallone writes this screenplay, and sounded interesting. I'm like, oh, okay, Stallone in a racing movie. That's a little bit different, and so it's got Sylvester Stallone also co-stars Burt Reynolds of all people, as well as unknown actors at the time: Kip Pardue, Till Schweiger, who's gone on to do lots of other great films in Germany, from what I understand. I know he's in Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. I know he shows up there, as well as Gina Gershon, Estella Warren, who would go on to do Planet of the Apes, and then some actor named Kristen Danafute. I think he's a Hispanic actor, I believe. So yeah. Of all people, directed by Rennie Harlan. And yeah. So basically, so here's, that's another reason why I only keep this DVD, is because, well, see that sticker right there? It's from a place called Video World, which is no longer around. I remember there used to be one when I was a kid. I would go there all the time after Mr. Video closed. And so that's the only reason why I keep this, for memory's sake. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have it, because it just, well, it sucks. So, big time. There's only one sequence in here that I love watching, and I'll get to that eventually. So basically, it's about where Stallone plays a talented veteran driver who confronts the last potential of his let me start over here. He's a talented veteran driver who confronts the lost potential of his past when called out of retirement to mentor a talented but unfocused rookie contender played by Kip Pardue. I have no idea what else he's been in since this movie. Whose destructive behavior is pursuing the girlfriend, Estella Warren, of his primary racing rival, Till Schweiger. Stallone's cliffhanger collaborator Rennie Harlan directs, shooting mini scenes at kart races around the world and using state-of-the-art technology to give viewers a strapped-in simulation of the driver's point of view. Start your engines. No. Okay, now these visual effects, they were somewhat okay, but, oh man. So here it is. The movie starts off, and then you get a text basically saying you got so many fans, so many races, only one championship. Then it gets into this song entitled Good Time. Literally the lyric is, it's like, roller coasting. Are you having a good time? Just something with the edit, whatever they did with it, it makes me cringe every time I see it, because the angle, or whatever shot it is that they use, they have a shot of an IndyCar going around like this slow motion churn, and when it says "Are you having a good time?" it makes me do this every single time. I'm like, right from like the first 10 seconds of this movie, I know it's going to be bad. Like, right there. And sure enough, it's awful. It sucks so bad. And, so that's my gripe with it right from the beginning. So let's go through the bonus features real quick. We have additional scenes with audio commentary by Stallone, feature-length audio commentary by Rennie Harlan, behind-the-scenes documentaries about the making of Driven, and conquering speed through live action and visual effects. Now, there is one song in here that I love, and I think it's by Saliva, and I cannot remember what the name of the song is, but it has this really cool, awesome metal, like sound or whatever. It's like that type of thing. I cannot remember the name of the song, but the only sequence that I love in this movie is kind of towards the middle where they introduce the newest generation of cars that are coming out for the following year. It looks the same, but so the character of Jimmy Bly, yes, that is the character's name, Jimmy Bly. It's like, ugh, it's like you couldn't pick another name. It's stupid, and the guy looks almost like Hayden Christensen a little bit. I'm like what is Hayden Christensen doing to this movie? But it's not. Then you have Till Schweiger, and he's got the emotional, his girlfriend. He and him are they're both fighting all the time, and he says, this is my life. She complains, this isn't your life, so it's either cars or me. What's it gonna be? So then, like, hey, look, I see the rookie guy. Maybe I'll go out with him for a bit just to piss you off. And it's like, the relationship story in this movie is awful. It's freaking god awful. And on top of that, excuse me. So, anyway, the one sequence that I love in this movie is when Stallone and Jimmy Bly, they take the new cars out for a little joyride in downtown Chicago. Why do I love that sequence? Well, it's mainly for one reason. The song choice that they picked. Whoever was editing the movie or whoever got the idea to put filters the best things during that chase sequence was awesome. Because that song is so cool. I love that song ever since I've heard it since high school. And overall, that's about the only decent sequence that they have in this whole movie. And then they play the same damn song towards the end of it. And you're just like, why did I even blow money to see this in the theater? Thank God theater ticket prices were nowhere near $10 back then. Because this movie is freaking awful. It's one of Stallone's worst movies that he's ever done. Probably one of the worst screenplays he's ever written. I know he may have thought it may have been a good story. Maybe it was the direction. Who knows? But Rennie Harlan, come on. The guy made Cliffhanger of all things. Surely, he knows how to do a decent action movie. But, Burt Reynolds just kind of, all he does is kind of yell at Stallone, and he's in a wheelchair, basically. His character's kind of like a former crew chief. He's kind of like Harry Hogg from Days of Thunder, but it's Burt Reynolds. But overall, Stallone and the humming. He does it. His character does this humming thing where he's trying to where he makes him concentrate on driving the car better or something like that. And I'm like, why? This movie definitely not recommended. Definitely not recommended. Like I said, it's not really one of my favorites, but I only keep it really just to have in my racing section. If I'm absolutely in a mood to watch a really crappy movie, I'll throw that on as background noise and I'll do something else until that one sequence happens. But, other than that, though, it's a god-awful movie. And you thought I had lots of good movies. Nope, I got some crappy ones in my collection, too. Oh, yeah. So with that, that's my rant on Driven. Enjoy it at your own leisure, if you will. Yeah. So with that, I'll see you on the next DVD close up. Depends on the movie. There could be a rant. There may not be. Depends on what it is. So with that, I'll see you later. Don't forget to like and subscribe.